Captain Rylan Hayes stepped off the landing pod and onto the surface of Lyra Tang. The ground shimmered beneath his boots, not with water or ice, but with a strange crystalline dust that seemed to pulse under his weight. Twin suns hung in the sky, one burning gold and the other pale violet, casting the landscape in shifting colors that changed as he moved. He paused to take it all in, feeling the thrill of exploration deep in his chest. This planet was uncharted, unknown even to the Galactic Council, and that meant danger, but also discovery, and Rylan had always lived for discovery. The air was breathable, but smelled faintly of ozone and something sweet he could not name. Every step he took made the crystals at his feet glow brighter, as if the planet itself noticed him. He took a careful step forward, scanning the horizon. In the distance, massive crystalline towers stretched hundreds of feet into the sky, reflecting the twin suns in dazzling patterns. They sparkled, twisted, and turned as if alive, and Rylan felt a shiver of excitement. Something about this place felt intelligent, almost sentient. He knelt to examine one of the smaller crystal formations. It was smooth, yet his fingers tingled when he touched it. A faint hum resonated through his bones. He could feel a pulse beneath the surface, like the planet was breathing. Fascinated, Rylan ran his hands over it, careful not to disturb its natural beauty. He had studied alien worlds before, but Lyra, 9, felt different, alive, alert, watching. By. Suddenly, a movement caught his eye. A figure stepped out from between the crystalline towers. At first, Rylan thought it was another explorer, perhaps an advanced reconnaissance drone. But it moved too gracefully, almost floating, not walking. The being was humanoid, with a tall, slender frame and translucent skin. Veins of glowing blue light ran beneath the surface, pulsing gently with each movement. Her hair shimmered with colors that changed as she moved, flowing like liquid crystal in the sunlight. Rylan froze, caught staring. There was something mesmerizing about her. Her eyes met his, large, almond-shaped, and bright with an inner light. And he felt a strange sense of recognition, though he knew he had never seen her before. She stopped a few meters away, tilting her head slightly, observing him with quiet curiosity. "Don't just look, human. Touch me," she said, her voice soft and musical, yet carrying a weight of command. It was not a demand of desire, but a challenge, a test. Rylan swallowed, unsure what she meant, but instinctively understood that she was asking him to engage, to interact, not merely observe. He hesitated. His mind raced with questions. Who was she? Was she dangerous? Why did she speak his language perfectly when the Galactic Council had never recorded intelligent life on Lyra? 9? And yet, something in her tone made him trust her, despite the strangeness of it all. Slowly, he extended a hand toward one of the floating crystals that hovered around her. As his fingers brushed the surface, a warmth spread through him. The crystal pulsed in response, and images flashed before his eyes. Visions of the planet as it once had been, filled with beings like her, weaving energy through the crystalline towers, creating light, life, and movement. The figure stepped closer. The planet is alive. To understand it, you must feel it, not just look at it, she explained, pointing to the crystals around them. Each one is a memory, a piece of history. You must touch to learn, human. Her hand hovered over a crystal, and it floated to meet her palm, as if it recognized her command. She turned back to Rylan. Will you try? Rylan's curiosity overcame fear. He stepped forward and touched another crystal. Immediately, a surge of energy traveled through his arm, and he stumbled back slightly. Breathless, he felt his heartbeat synchronize with the planet's pulse. Colors danced before his eyes, shifting and merging into patterns he could not describe. He saw glimpses of creatures moving in harmony with the crystals, forming structures and networks of pure energy. He felt joy, sorrow, and awe all at once, a whirlwind of emotion and knowledge that left him both exhilarated and exhausted. "Focus," the figure said gently. "Feel. Don't resist. Let the planet guide you," she demonstrated, placing her hand on a nearby tower. The crystal shimmered and pulsed, sending waves of light across the landscape. Rylan imitated her, carefully placing his hands on another tower. This time, the energy flowed smoothly into him, not overwhelming, but connecting. He felt a bond forming, not just with the crystals, but with the planet itself. Hours passed without notice. The suns moved across the sky, casting shadows that danced across the towers. Rylan touched more crystals, learning to sense the energy patterns, to move with the flow rather than against it. The figure, whose name he now learned was Lyra, guided him, offering silent corrections and encouragement. Each touch revealed more. The history of Lyra. 9, the rise and fall of civilizations that had mastered the crystal's energy, and the responsibility that came with such power. "Humans are rare," Lyra said finally, stepping back. "Your species is unpredictable. You destroy, but you also create. You fear what you do not understand, yet you are capable of courage and empathy. That is why you can connect." Rylan nodded, trying to absorb her words. He felt pride, but also the weight of responsibility. This planet was alive, intelligent, and yet vulnerable. And now, humans had the chance to learn from it, and to protect it. A sudden ripple of energy ran through the crystals. The air shimmered as if reality itself had bent. Lyra stiffened, her glowing veins brightening. Rylan felt it too. A disturbance. Something approached from the horizon, fast and deliberate. He squinted against the sunlight and saw sleek, black ships descending from the sky. The Varkans. He had heard stories of them, a ruthless alien faction known for exploiting planets for energy and resources, leaving nothing alive in their wake. Lyra's expression hardened.
"They have sensed the planet's awakening. They will try to take what they cannot understand."
"You must be ready, human. Touch alone will not protect you." Rylan swallowed hard, feeling both fear and determination. This was more than a test of curiosity now. It was a test of courage, of skill, and of humanity itself. The planet's pulse quickened beneath his feet, as if warning him that the time for observation was over. He glanced at Lyra. Her glowing eyes met his, and in them, he saw hope and challenge intertwined. He clenched his fists, readying himself. "I don't know what comes next," he admitted. "But I'll try. I'll do what I must." Lyra's smile was brief, but it carried reassurance. "That is enough. For now, human, you have learned to feel. Soon, you will learn to act. And when the time comes, you must not only touch the planet, you must defend it." The first shadows of the Varkan ships fell across the crystalline towers. Rylan's heart pounded, but he no longer felt powerless. For the first time, he understood that humanity's strength was not just in technology, nor in firepower, nor in numbers. It was in courage, adaptability, and the willingness to connect with something greater than themselves. As the black ships approached, Rylan took a deep breath. He looked at the glowing crystals, at Lyra, and at the vast living landscape around him. He felt the planet's pulse sync with his own heartbeat. The adventure, he realized, had only just begun. And he, a human among the stars, was ready to rise to the challenge. Rylan stood at the edge of a crystal plateau, the twin suns casting long shadows across the shimmering landscape. The black ships of the Varkans had retreated for now, but he knew their presence would not disappear entirely. Lyra floated beside him, her glow faint but steady, a silent reminder of the bond forming between human and planet.
"You must understand," Lyra said, her voice like soft wind through glass towers. "Lyra."
9 is alive. It remembers everything.
Each crystal is a memory, a fragment of knowledge. If you touch and feel, you can unlock them. But you must not rush. The planet responds to patience, empathy, and courage. Rylan nodded, Still feeling the surge of energy from their first connection, the pulse of the crystals lingered in his veins, a soft hum that matched the rhythm of his heartbeat. He reached out to a small floating crystal nearby. As soon as his fingers made contact, a warm sensation spread through him, and his mind was filled with images of the past, creatures moving in perfect harmony with the crystal towers, weaving energy as though it were a living thread, shaping the planet with their hands and thoughts. "It is beautiful," Rylan whispered, awed. "How could anything like this exist? Beauty alone is not enough to survive in the galaxy. Power without understanding destroys. You humans are capable of both creation and destruction. That is why the planet tests you." For hours, Rylan followed Lyra across the crystalline plains. Each crystal he touched brought new visions, gardens of light, cities built of pure energy, beings who could shape reality itself with thought and intention. He learned to sense patterns, to move with the energy rather than against it. Every touch, every connection made him stronger and more aware. He could feel the planet's thoughts, its desires, and even its fears. Lyra stopped beside a towering crystal cluster that pulsed brighter than any they had seen. "This one is special," she explained. "It holds the memory of the Great Harmony, the time when my people lived fully connected with the planet. It is the key to understanding Lyra, Nine's power. Only someone who can balance courage and empathy can unlock it." Rylan's fingers hovered over the crystal, hesitant. He remembered the warnings about the Varkans, and the sense of responsibility settled heavily on his shoulders. If he failed, the planet could fall into enemy hands. He took a deep breath, placing his hand carefully on the crystal. Energy surged through him, stronger than anything he had felt before. Images flashed through his mind at dizzying speed, cities of light, creatures shaping energy with their hands, storms of color and movement. He felt fear, excitement, and awe all at once. But instead of panicking, he focused on the rhythm of the energy, matching his heartbeat to the pulse of the crystal. The crystal responded. It glowed brighter, spreading a wave of light across the landscape. Rylan felt his mind open, understanding the harmony of Lyra. 9. For the first time, he saw how the crystals communicated, how the planet maintained balance, and how life thrived within its energy. He felt the history of the planet as though it were his own memory. Lyra watched him closely. "You are learning quickly, human. But the planet is more than memory. It is alive, and it will test you in ways you cannot predict. The Varkans will return, and then your courage will be tested." Rylan nodded, feeling both fear and determination. "I won't fail," he said firmly. "I felt its power. I know what's at stake." As if to confirm his words, a tremor ran through the ground. Crystals quivered and pulsed urgently. Lyra's glow brightened, and Rylan felt a warning ripple through the energy beneath his feet. From the horizon, dark shapes moved across the plains. Varkan's scouts, fast and silent, seeking the energy nodes. Lyra's expression hardened.
"They are here sooner than expected. You must act, human.
Use what you have learned. Trust the planet." Rylan took a deep breath and focused. He reached for the nearest crystal and touched it, feeling the energy surge through his body. It was as though the planet itself was lending him strength. He experimented, directing the energy to create barriers of light that shimmered and held against the approaching Varkans. The aliens halted, puzzled by the sudden walls of energy that seemed to rise from nowhere. "Good," Lyra said, her voice steady. "You are learning to protect as well as connect. That is the key. Observation alone is not enough. Action is required." The Varkans hesitated, studying the barriers. Rylan felt the pulse of Lyra 9 guiding him, suggesting subtle movements and adjustments. Each touch, each thought, sent ripples through the crystals, shifting light and energy to create illusions and block their path. The aliens advanced cautiously, realizing that the planet itself was resisting them, channeled through this human. Hours passed in a tense dance of energy and strategy. Rylan learned to move with the crystals, to anticipate the Varkans' attacks, and to use the planet's energy as both shield and weapon. Lyra remained at his side, guiding silently, her presence a calming influence. Together, human and guardian became a team, combining intuition, empathy, and courage to defend the living world around them. Finally, the Varkans retreated, at least for now, disappearing beyond the horizon. Rylan's body ached from the exertion, and sweat ran down his face, but he felt a deep sense of accomplishment. He had touched more than crystals today. He had touched the life of an entire planet. He had proven that humans could rise to challenges that required not only strength, but understanding and courage. Lyra approached him, her glow softening. "You have done well, human, but this is only the beginning. There are deeper connections to make, older memories to unlock. You will need all your courage, and your empathy will be tested further." Rylan looked at the glowing towers stretching into the sky, each one a memory, a puzzle, a challenge. "I understand," he said. "I will continue. I want to learn everything." Lyra's eyes reflected pride. "Then we begin tomorrow. Rest now. The planet will guide you when it is ready, and I will remain at your side." 9, the twin suns dipping below the horizon. Rylan lay beside one of the larger crystals, feeling its gentle pulse beneath his back. The light shifted and shimmered like a living heartbeat, and he drifted into a deep, dreamless sleep. He felt connected to Lyra, to the planet, and to something far greater than himself. For the first time, he realized that human potential was not measured by weapons or technology alone, but by courage, empathy, and the willingness to reach out and touch the unknown. He dreamed of floating towers, glowing rivers of energy, and creatures who moved in perfect harmony with their world. And when he awoke, the first rays of the twin suns touched the crystals, making them shine brighter than ever. He felt ready for whatever came next. Lyra stood beside him, waiting. Today you will go deeper," she said. "Today you will unlock secrets that have lain dormant for centuries. And you must be prepared, for the Varkans are not finished. They will return, stronger, more determined. But you, human, have something they cannot understand. You can connect, and that is your greatest strength." Rylan took a deep breath, placing his hand once more on a floating crystal. Its pulse ran through him, steady and strong. He felt confidence grow, mingled with the awe of discovery. The planet's energy was no longer something distant or strange. It flowed through him, guiding him, teaching him and testing him. As he stood, Lyra gestured toward the horizon. Beyond the crystalline plains lay forests of glowing flora, mountains of living crystal, and rivers of liquid light. Each step would bring new lessons, new challenges, and perhaps new allies or enemies. But Rylan felt ready. Humans were rare, unpredictable, and often underestimated. And that unpredictability, paired with courage, empathy, and curiosity, was exactly what Lyra, 9, needed. Together, they moved forward into the glowing forests. The planet thrummed beneath their feet, alive and aware. And for the first time, Rylan understood that exploration was not just about seeing new worlds. It was about feeling them, connecting with them, and protecting them. Humanity had a place here, not as conquerors, but as guardians, as partners, as beings capable of greatness when they chose courage over fear. And Rylan was determined to prove it. The glow of Lyra, 9's twin suns cast long, shifting shadows across the crystalline forest as Rylan and Lyra moved deeper into the planet's heart. The air was thick with energy, each breath tingling on his skin, and the forest seemed alive, almost aware of their presence. Rylan had never felt anything like it. Every crystal, every leaf, pulsed with a rhythm that he could feel in his chest. The connection he had built with the planet yesterday was still alive, stronger than ever, and he felt as though he could sense everything around him. The shifting light, the movement of creatures in the distance, even the faintest ripple of energy from the crystal rivers. Lyra moved ahead of him, her glowing figure floating lightly over the crystalline ground. "The deeper we go," she said, her voice calm yet commanding, "the more the planet tests those who walk within it. You must maintain focus. The Varkans have returned and they will try to disrupt the harmony. But you, human, are learning to use your courage and empathy. That is what will make the difference." Rylan nodded, his hand brushing over a floating crystal. He could feel its energy responding to him, syncing with his heartbeat, guiding him along the safest path. He had learned yesterday that the planet was more than a collection of crystals. It was a living entity, capable of teaching, protecting, and even defending itself through those who could connect with it. And now, with the Varkans returning, he understood that this bond would be tested in ways he had never imagined. Suddenly, a pulse ran through the ground. The crystals quivered and emitted a low hum. Rylan's body reacted instantly. He felt the warning in his bones. The Varkans were near. He looked to Lyra, who stopped and raised her hand. The glow along her veins brightened. "They come," she said simply. "You must use what you have learned. Trust the planet. Trust yourself." From the horizon, dark silhouettes emerged, the black ships gliding across the crystalline plains. The Varkans moved with precision, their weapons ready, scanning the environment for energy nodes to exploit. Rylan's pulse quickened, but he did not panic. He had felt the pulse of the crystals, and now he would channel that energy to protect the planet. He reached out, touching a large cluster of crystals nearby. A surge of warmth and light spread through him, and he felt the planet's energy flowing into his body. His senses sharpened. He could feel the movement of every crystal, every creature, every ripple of energy across the forest. It was overwhelming, but he focused, centering his mind and letting the planet guide him. The Varkans advanced, weapons raised, but they paused as the crystals along the forest floor and canopy began to shimmer and rise. Rylan directed the energy, forming walls of light and barriers that blocked their path. The Varkans fired, but the beams of their weapons dissipated harmlessly against the energy shields. Rylan's confidence grew. He realized that the planet was not only alive, it could fight through him. Lyra hovered beside him, her voice calm. "Do not overextend yourself. The planet's energy flows through you, but it is not unlimited. Focus your mind, not your strength." Rylan adjusted his stance, feeling the energy shift in response to his thoughts. He experimented, sending pulses through the crystals that created illusions, bending light to make the forest seem endless, confusing the Varkans. Some of their ships collided or hesitated, unable to navigate the shifting landscape. The creatures were clever, but human adaptability was the key. Hours passed in a tense battle of energy and wits. The Varkans tried to adapt, but Rylan anticipated their movements, guided by Lyra and the planet. Each touch of the crystals strengthened his connection, allowing him to manipulate larger areas and more complex patterns of energy. He realized something profound. Humans were unpredictable in a way that even the Varkans could not calculate. Their logic was rigid, their strategies precise, but humans could improvise, adapt, and act in ways that defied expectation. Lyra's voice cut through the hum of the crystals. "Now, human, you must focus on the great harmony. Touch the central cluster. Unite yourself fully with the planet." Rylan nodded and approached a massive crystalline tower at the center of the forest. Its surface shimmered with colors he could not name, and it pulsed with a steady, commanding rhythm. He placed both hands on it, feeling the energy surge through him in waves. His body trembled, but he forced himself to stay calm. breathing steadily as he let the planet's pulse flow into him. Visions flooded his mind, beings shaping energy with thought alone, rivers of light flowing through cities of crystal, storms of color and sound that formed patterns of life and harmony. He felt the collective consciousness of Lyra 9, and he understood that this was the source of the planet's strength. The Varkans were strong, but they could not comprehend this connection. They could destroy what they saw, but they could not understand or manipulate life itself. Rylan extended his thoughts outward, sending pulses through the central crystal. Waves of energy spread across the forest, reinforcing the barriers, confusing the Varkans further. Some of their ships attempted to break through, but the illusions and energy waves forced them back. The forest itself seemed to rise in defense, crystals bending and shifting to protect their heart. Lyra watched him closely, her glow intensifying. "You are learning the true strength of your species, human. Courage, empathy, and connection. These are what make you powerful. Technology alone cannot achieve this. Only those who understand life itself can wield it responsibly." Rylan smiled faintly, feeling the truth of her words. He had always believed humans were capable of great things, but now he saw it clearly. Adaptability, empathy, courage. These were not weaknesses. They were strengths that no alien species could easily replicate. And when combined with knowledge and connection, they could achieve incredible feats. The Varkans, sensing defeat, began to retreat. Their ships lifted off in unison, dark silhouettes against the glowing forest. Rylan could feel their fear, their frustration. But he did not gloat. The battle was not over. They would return, stronger and more determined. But today, the planet had survived. Humanity had proven that it could rise to challenges that required more than firepower or strategy. It could rise through connection, courage, and empathy. Lyra floated beside him, her glow softening as the forest settled back into its natural rhythm. "You have done well, human. Today you have proven that courage and understanding can protect life itself. But this is only the beginning. The planet has more lessons, deeper secrets, and the Varkans will not forget." Rylan took a deep breath, feeling exhaustion mixed with exhilaration. He had touched the planet, felt its energy, and defended it against an enemy he had never faced before. He had learned that humans were not just explorers. They were capable of protecting, understanding, and connecting with life in ways few other species could. As night fell on Lyra 9, the forest shimmered with a gentle glow. The twin moons rose, reflecting off the crystalline towers and casting soft light across the landscape. Rylan sat beside the central crystal, letting the energy flow through him, and allowed himself a moment of quiet reflection. He had faced danger and uncertainty, but he had also felt the incredible potential of humans. Lyra hovered above him, her voice gentle. "Rest now, human. Tomorrow, you will go deeper. You will unlock more of Lyra 9's memories, learn its history, and perhaps discover allies who have been waiting for centuries. But remember, your greatest strength is your courage and your willingness to connect. Never forget that." Rylan closed his eyes, feeling the pulse of the planet sync with his heartbeat. He drifted into a deep sleep, dreaming not of battles or fear, but of connection, harmony, and potential. He dreamed of floating towers of light, rivers of energy, and beings who moved in perfect unity with their world. And when he awoke, he felt ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. He stood and looked toward the horizon, where the forest stretched endlessly, alive with energy and possibility. The Varkans would return, yes, but humanity had proven its worth. Humans could adapt, connect, and protect life in ways that no one had anticipated. Rylan felt a surge of pride and determination. He was not just a visitor on Lyra 9. He was a guardian, a bridge between humans and a living, thinking planet. Lyra moved beside him, her glow bright and steady. "Come," she said. "The planet waits. There is more to learn, and your courage will be tested further. But I have no doubt, human, you are ready." Together they stepped forward into the shimmering forest, the pulse of Lyra 9 flowing through them, guiding them, preparing them for the challenges to come. And Rylan knew that whatever the Varkans brought next, humanity would be ready, not just with technology or weapons, but with courage, empathy, and the power to connect with life itself. The adventure was far from over. The galaxy was vast, full of unknown dangers and wonders, but Rylan had discovered something far more important than exploration alone. Humans could rise to greatness, not through conquest, but through understanding, courage, and the willingness to reach out and touch the unknown. And Lyra, 9, alive and vibrant, would be a testament to that truth. The twin sons of Lyra, 9, had barely risen when Rylan awoke to a shiver running through the crystalline forest. The pulse of the planet beneath his feet was urgent, faster than normal, and the air vibrated with tension. He opened his eyes to see Lyra hovering above him, her glow brighter and more focused than ever. "They have returned," she said calmly, but the tension in her voice was unmistakable. "The Varkans have brought their full fleet. This is no longer a test, human. This is the true challenge." Rylan stood, feeling the weight of responsibility settle heavily on his shoulders. Yesterday he had learned to connect with the planet and defend it against small groups of invaders. Today he faced a full-scale attack. He could feel fear creeping into his mind, but he pushed it aside. Courage, empathy, and connection. The lessons Lyra had taught him were his weapons now, and he would wield them. From the horizon, sleek black ships descended, cutting through the morning light. They moved with deadly precision, weapons primed, scanning for energy sources. Rylan's pulse quickened, but he focused, letting the energy of Lyra, 9, flow through him. Every crystal in the forest responded instantly to his presence, pulsing in rhythm with his heartbeat. Walls of light rose between him and the approaching Varkans, shimmering and shifting, confusing the alien pilots. Lyra's voice was calm, guiding him. "Do not fight blindly. Use the planet. Connect with it. Direct its power through yourself. The Varkans may be strong, but they cannot match life itself." Rylan touched a cluster of floating crystals, and a surge of energy shot through him. He closed his eyes, letting the vibrations of the planet guide his movements. The crystals responded to his thoughts, forming barriers, illusions, and patterns of light that obscured the forest paths and disrupted the Varkans' approach. Ships collided with invisible walls, and some turned back in confusion. The planet itself was defending, and Rylan was the channel. Despite the barriers, some Varkans landed, attempting to infiltrate the forest. Rylan directed pulses of energy through the ground, raising crystalline spikes and weaving paths of light to trap them without harm. The aliens tried to fight back with energy weapons, but Rylan anticipated their moves, adjusting the barriers and illusions to counter every attack. The forest was alive, responding to his touch, and he felt a deep sense of unity with Lyra. 9. Lyra hovered beside him, her glow merging with the energy of the crystals. "You are doing well, human, but now you must unlock the Great Harmony fully. Only then will we have a chance to repel the fleet completely." Rylan approached the massive central crystal tower at the heart of the forest. It pulsed with a steady rhythm, stronger than ever, reflecting the collective consciousness of Lyra. 9. He placed both hands on it, feeling the energy surge into him. Images of the planet's past flashed before his eyes, towering cities of light, rivers of energy flowing through the land, beings who shaped the world with thought alone. He felt their joy, their sorrow, their triumphs, and their failures. The energy was overwhelming, but he focused, centering himself in the planet's pulse. The Varkans advanced closer, their ships attempting to fire on the central crystal. Rylan felt the planet respond, sending waves of energy outward. Trees of crystal bent and shifted, forming living barriers. Rivers of light changed course, creating illusions of endless forests and paths that led nowhere. The fleet hesitated, unable to navigate the rapidly changing landscape. Rylan realized that the Varkans relied on logic and precision, but the living planet, guided through him, was unpredictable, adaptive, and unstoppable. Lyra's voice cut through the hum of energy. "Now, human, extend your connection. Become one with the great harmony. Let it flow through you fully." Rylan closed his eyes and focused. He imagined the planet's energy flowing through him like a river, reaching every part of his body. He directed it outward, synchronizing his heartbeat with the pulse of the crystals. The ground trembled as waves of energy spread through the forest, pushing back the Varkans and lifting some ships off the ground. Rylan felt the planet guiding his thoughts, anticipating the aliens' moves before they made them. He moved like water, flowing with the energy, deflecting attacks and creating openings for the Varkans to retreat. Hours passed in a tense struggle, but gradually the Varkans began to withdraw. Their ships, confused and unable to handle the adaptive energy of Lyra, 9, lifted off in retreat. Rylan's arms ached, his body exhausted, but he felt a surge of pride and relief. Humanity had risen to the challenge, not through brute force, but through courage, connection, and the willingness to understand life itself. Lyra hovered beside him, her glow softening. "You have done it, human. The planet is safe, at least for now. But more importantly, you have proven that humans are capable of greatness beyond technology or weapons. You can connect, understand, and protect life in ways no other species can." Rylan lowered his hands, feeling the energy settle. He looked around at the crystalline forest, now quiet and shimmering in the morning light. The planet was alive, breathing, and thriving. And for the first time he felt the full weight of what humanity could achieve. Humans were not just explorers or fighters. They could be guardians, capable of connecting with worlds in ways that no other species could. Lyra moved closer, her glow reflecting in the crystals. "You have earned the planet's trust, human. I will show you its deepest secrets, its history, and its power. There is much to learn and many challenges to face. But today you have taken the first step toward true partnership." Rylan nodded, feeling a sense of purpose unlike anything he had experienced before. "I want to learn," he said simply. "I want to understand everything." Lyra smiled, a soft glow spreading across her features. "Then you will. The planet remembers everything, and it will teach you. But remember this. True strength comes not from control, but from understanding and connection. You have proven that humans are capable of this, and that is why you are rare, precious, and powerful."
As the day progressed, Lyra guided Rylan through the history of Lyra's
9. He saw visions of the ancient energy-weaving civilization, their triumphs, their harmony, and their eventual decline. The planet had survived because it was alive, capable of remembering and learning. And now, through Rylan, it had found a new protector. Rylan touched the central crystal again, feeling the energy flow through him. He realized that the Varkans would return, perhaps with greater force, but humanity now had an advantage. They had something no other species could match: courage, empathy, and the ability to connect with life itself. Rylan understood that this was humanity's true strength, the thing that made them heroic in the galaxy. Lyra's voice brought him back from his thoughts. "The planet will guide you, human. And together, we will prepare for whatever comes next. You are not alone. Humanity is not alone. The galaxy has yet to see what we can achieve when we choose connection over destruction." Rylan looked out over the crystalline forest, the central crystal glowing like a beacon of life. He felt hope, determination, and pride. Humanity had proven itself, not through weapons or conquest, but through understanding and courage. And he knew that this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and wonders, but with the lessons of Lyra, 9, humans could rise to meet them all. The twin suns dipped toward the horizon, casting long shadows across the forest. Rylan took a deep breath, feeling the pulse of the planet sink with his own heartbeat. He had faced fear, uncertainty, and danger, and he had not only survived, but thrived. He had touched the life of an entire planet, defended it, and proven that humans could be heroes in the truest sense. Lyra hovered beside him, her glow fading slightly as night approached. "Rest now, human. The planet is safe, and you have done well. But remember, the galaxy is vast, and there is much more to protect, learn, and discover. Today you have proven humanity's potential. Never forget it." Rylan nodded, feeling exhaustion and satisfaction mingle within him. He looked at the glowing crystals, at the energy flowing through the forest, and at Lyra. The planet was alive, vibrant, and safe. And he knew that humanity, too, had a role to play in the galaxy, not as conquerors, but as guardians, explorers, and heroes. As he lay down beside the central crystal, letting the energy flow through him one last time before sleep claimed him, Rylan realized something profound. Humanity's greatest weapon was not firepower, speed, or technology. It was courage, empathy, and the ability to connect with life itself. And as long as humans remembered that, they would rise to greatness in ways no one had ever imagined. He closed his eyes, feeling the pulse of Lyra, 9 beneath him, steady, strong, and alive. And in that moment, he knew that no matter what the galaxy threw at them, humanity would endure. Humans would explore, protect, and rise to every challenge. And together with allies like Lyra, they would shape a future filled with wonder, courage, and hope. The adventure of Lyra, 9 had reached its climax. But for Rylan, and for humanity, it was only the beginning. The galaxy awaited, vast and alive, ready to test the courage, wisdom, and empathy of the human race. And Rylan knew that they would rise not just as explorers, not just as warriors, but as heroes capable of touching life itself. Lyra hovered above him, glowing softly, watching over the human, who had become more than a visitor. He was a protector, a partner, and a symbol of what humanity could achieve. Together they had defended a living world, and together they would face the future, united in purpose, courage, and hope. And as the twin moons rose over the crystalline forest, casting gentle light across the shimmering landscape, Rylan drifted into sleep, at peace, for the first time in his life.
He had touched a planet.
He had defended it, and he had discovered the true potential of humanity. The galaxy was waiting, and humans were ready.